Hello world, Ifecodes here. Welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to build the front end part that will consume the API that we built in the last video or in the last episode. As I said earlier, it is kind of a dashboard video. Sorry, a dashboard app. So we go to the dashboard. Let me demonstrate what I mean. We go to the dashboard. I click. So it loads a few videos. Then, as usual, then if I click, if I scroll to a certain level, it will load more videos. I scroll again until there is nothing more to load. So if you can see here, it says back to home. So if I click, it takes me back to the home page. Now let's go back to the dashboard page. As you can see here, we have this delete button that if we click, it will delete the video. Not only will it be deleting it from the database, it will also be deleting it from the server. All right, that is from the computer itself. The main file will also be deleted. So let me click delete to demonstrate. Let me click. So we see this dialog box or this pop-up dialog box that will come out here, or that will pop out here and ask, are you sure you want to delete this video? Then I click OK. You see that video is gone, and here it says video deleted successfully. All right, it went away on its own automatically after 3 seconds. So let me try it again. So let's try this. Okay, let me try another one, or let me try test vid1. Then let me delete it. Dialog box asks me again if I want to delete the video. I'll say okay. You see, test video 1 is gone. You can only see test video 2. All right, as you can see on your screen, the whole thing set up. That is the boilerplate. So it is dashboard.php. Sorry, dashboard.php. So the title is already named. So we don't have much time to waste. So as you can remember in the intro, so I showed everything. Just a very simple design. Therefore, let's start with the HTML first. So this is the HTML. So first of all, we have this H2 tag, which is the video dashboard. So that is the big video dashboard you saw in the intro. Then we have under it, we have another div with an ID of message. So this is where the message will appear. Then under that also we have the video container, the div with an ID of video container and the class name of video container. Okay, this is where all the videos will be displayed, those cards. Then under the this div, video container, we have what is called a div with an ID of sentinel. So we'll understand what this sentinel is all about later. We'll then have a backlink, back to home link. So the href, of course, is index.php to take us back to the home page. Then the class name is backlink. All right, so let me save and let's see what we have. Okay, the ugly design. So this is what we have: a video dashboard, then back to home. So the next thing we have to do now is to handle the CSS part. Of course, this is not a CSS tutorial, therefore I will not be talking much about the CSS. So let me just copy and paste it, then I will just read a few things out. Well, of course, you can always pause the video and copy it, and also you can download the file, the code from the file I will provide in the description. So this is what we have. We'll have the body, font family, Arial, sans serif. Of course, you can always choose another one, doesn't matter. Okay, you can choose anyhow. So I was just doing it quickly because I had a little problem, so I should have done this tutorial a long time ago. But anyway, let's just continue. H2, we have the text align center. Color is hashtag 333. Video container, then these are the parameters. Then the video card too, these are the parameters. These are all simple stuffs anyway. So video card hover, what will happen? It will transform. Then the box shadow, Then also we have the video card title. Okay, video card video, that is for the video itself, but of course we're not going to play any video. Delete button, okay, just for the deletion of the videos. Then when you hover on the delete button, so delete delete btn hover. Then pay attention to this one. This one is message, okay, because it doesn't appear over here. There is no message here, but we'll handle that later, okay. Those are the ones we will create using JavaScript. Then success and error, these three we will handle them later. Then we also have the backlink, display inline block, margin, blah 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 blah, and everything. Then the hover, then the sentinel, okay. This one also is very important, okay. It says background transparent. We'll find out why it is like that later in the video. So let me save and see what we have. Basically the HTML and CSS, and we are done with them. So now let us get straight into the nitty-gritty of this tutorial. We're going to be using DOM manipulation. When we say DOM manipulation, it means scripts. Okay, we are going to be using JavaScript to create whatever we are. All those things you saw in the intro has been done via JavaScript. All right, let's continue. So before anything, we have to do some initialization. That is, we have to initialize some variables, or this, variables and constants. So constants is just variable whose content doesn't change. Therefore, the very first one we have to do now is, the API we will be using. So in this case, we use const. So let's says const API URL, okay. Then to it we assign the following. So say dash API, then path. Okay, where is dash API? Or what is dash API? It's just the API. As I said earlier, this is dash API, the API we created we built in the last video. All right, so we are going to be using that API. Okay, so in this case I use this dash API path, but when you are building a how do I put it, a production app, you are not going to do it this way. Okay, so let me just show you what I mean. So if this were a production app, this is what we'll be using. Okay, instead of just simply saying dash API, because it is in the same computer that all these things are happening, because we are using XAMPP. But if you are using your web host for somewhere else, so you use your web host name, then the API path, and so forth and so on. Okay, understand what I mean now. Now let's continue. The next variable we are going to be doing should be offset. Offset, then the contents will be 0. Then the next one also is limit. This one, it will not change, the content will not change, therefore we use const. So this one, the content will be 6. All right, sorry, const limit, what am I doing? Const limit is 6. Okay, now the other one, sorry, the limit is number of videos per batch, or each time it's going to load only 6 videos. So you can change this, okay, if you want. Now the next thing we have to do is get the total videos. All right, total videos will be infinity. Okay, so this one will be updated by the API response. So it is the API that will be updating this one. And the next one will be is loading. Is loading will be false. So this one prevents multiple simultaneous fetches. That is to say, when it is already in the process of fetching videos from the API, we are not going to interrupt it and tell it to fetch more videos while it's already fetching videos. So that is what is loading is all about. So we'll set it to false. Okay, now we have to make a function, or make a function that will load the videos. So first of all, let's call the function. I'll call it load videos. Okay, this is a function, but this function does not exist. Therefore, we'll have to define it. All right. So we'll now proceed to build the function. So we'll simply go up there. Then we'll say function load videos. So simply let me just copy here. So function load videos. So the load videos load videos function that we built, or that we are defining right now, will accept one optional parameter, and that parameter will be append. Then append will be set to true. Okay, so if no argument is passed, that is, no argument is passed here, then append defaults to true. Okay, so you have to bear this at the back of your mind. If nothing, that's to say, if no argument is being passed, then it means that this append will remain true. Else, this true will turn to false. So the purpose of this append true parameter is that videos will be added to the existing ones on the page. If append is false, then existing videos will be cleared. So if append is false, videos that are already in the list or in this video container here, those cards will they will be cleared. Then and only new batch will be shown. So this is useful for when we have deleted a video or we refresh the list. Okay, so when we delete the video or we refresh the list, so that is when this thing comes to play. So the next thing we are now going to do is to prevent loading videos when it is not necessary. For example, when the app is already in the process of loading new videos, or that we have already loaded all the videos in the database. To do this, we'll of course use the if statement. Is loading or offset is greater than total videos. Okay, so if is loading is true, that is in the is loading here is true, it is in the process of loading videos, or the offsets, that is to say we have loaded all the videos, so the offset now is greater than the total number of videos we have in our database. Okay, so once that happens, we simply say return. So what this return does is it just simply, that is to say, if both of these things return, or should I say, if both conditions are false, then the next code will run. Else, this return will stop the script entirely. Okay, we will stop there. All right, so let's continue. As I said earlier, if they return false, then the next line of code will run. So what is that line? It is simply to set is loading back to true. This sets the loading flag, so no duplicate fetches happen while this one is already in progress, or this one is in progress, which of course we checked above. Okay, now we'll fetch the videos from the database. To do that, we'll have to use the fetch function. So we have the fetch function. So we'll then provide the argument, the argument or the parameters. Okay, so let me do that immediately. So these two things here, these are backticks. So backticks, this is a template tutorial. It helps us to mix both what's it called, strings and names of variables in the same line. Okay, and it helps us to avoid using concatenations. I hate using concatenations to do things like this. It can be very confusing. So this is the variable for the API we are going to consult. Then videos and offsets, this other data here. So we have the offsets, then the limit. Now that we have provided this thing, maybe I should console log this particular line out so that you understand what is inside. So let me do it immediately. So here it is. So first of all, let me comment this one out. So console.log fetching from, then okay. So let me save. So I go straight to the browser. inspect, and I go to console. So it says fetching from dash API PHP, then path videos, then offsets, and offsets is this 0 and limit is what? 6. So this is basically what is inside this what's it called? These all these things, all these variables and all this mixture between variable and what we are fetching from the database or the request we are making to the API, not the database, because it is the API that will then go to the database. All right, let's continue. So this line sends a GET request to the API endpoint. First of all, what is the fetch in JavaScript? Fetch is a built-in JavaScript function used to make network requests. I've said that in previous videos, but let me go into it a little bit more. So it is like asking a server for data. Think of it this way: your web page is a customer at the server, and the server is the waiter. Then fetch is the customer placing an order, which is the request. The waiter goes to the kitchen, aka server. When the food, aka data, is ready, it comes back to the table, which is your web page, which gets the response. Fetch is an asynchronous, is asynchronous, which means that the browser does not wait. Okay, when it sends the request, it simply continues doing other things. So when the data comes back, you handle it using what is called then function. Okay, which this forms the promise chain. So after the fetch call, okay. So I think I have explained it a little bit better. So the part of the promise chain, we have fetch, then we also have the other one called catch when there is an error. Okay, so now that we have made the request, we'll then wait for the response, and to get the response, we'll say then, okay, the response comes back. Don't worry about where we got this response variable. It's simply coming from the it is part of the fetch whatever. Okay, this fetch thing is part, because once you make a fetch request, it is a response that is coming back. Now we get the response, so we now have to run this what's it called, this anonymous function. Okay, so this is part of the promise chain after the fetch call. So it handles the HTTP request from the server. Now let us kind of get a kind, because there's something called response status. So what kind of response came back? Is everything all right? Did everything go as planned, or is something wrong? So let us then what's it called, see what that is inside that, or let's see the kind of response we got. Okay, so console.log. Then what are we logging? We are logging response. So response.status. I save. So let's quickly go to the browser and see what we have. So here in the browser, I go to inspect once more. Then what do I have here? I go to console. What do I have? 200. So 200 means everything is okay. So now let me try something here. Let's say okay, let me add one more I here. I save. Let's get over here quickly. It says 404. Okay, so which means it is not okay. File wasn't found or something of that nature. In fact, the connection was not all okay. So that's that. Let's continue. So let me take this off immediately. The next thing we have to do is to work with the response. Because now it is a JSON format, so we don't have to work on it. So what we have to do now is to convert the raw response, which is in a JSON, to a JavaScript object. So we'll do that using what is called the JSON method. Okay, so let's do that immediately. Here it is. We've converted it to a JavaScript object, but then it also returns another promise. So the next then method or function in the chain will receive the parsed JSON data. Okay, So this is now a JSON, a JavaScript object, aka data. So as I have explained earlier, then we'll also use another then method to work on it further. So data, okay, data. Then we use this function, this anonymous function also on it. All right. So first of all, let's see what is inside this data. So console.log. What are we logging? Data. All right. Now let's check our browser and see what we have. So inspect. So you see we have an object, JavaScript object. Now inside it we have limit. We have all this limit, offset, total. Okay, total is the total number of videos in our database. So we see we have all of these. As you can see, we have file name, ID, title, URL, and so forth and so on. Okay, so these are the things that are inside our data. Okay, let's continue. So let's continue by doing what exactly? Basically, as we now have all of this data, we'll have to go through each of them. So the next thing we are going to do is to first of all get the div where the videos will be displayed. So in order to do that, we are going to first of all, let me take this one off. We create a const and call it container. Okay, and to that const we are variable whose content doesn't change. We assign this this line says document.getElement by ID video container. So we are just looking for this particular div here. So this is what we are targeting. Now we have gotten it. We are then going to start append, kind of putting the videos inside. But then we will have to kind of check if there are things, because it depends on what we are trying to do in the first place. If we are simply deleting a video or we are simply just displaying, so it depends. We'll have to put all that into, have to take care of all of that's all the situation. Now there is something called append, because append means just to add. Okay, so first of all see or check if we are not appending. So if we are appending, then we'll have to first of all clear the container so that it doesn't pile up the old videos, kind of videos that have already been loaded. Then we'll display on the screen. Then we'll then see multiple how do I put it? Multiple examples of those same videos or copies of those same videos. So simply we'll have to clear the container first so that the old videos don't pile up. Okay, so that we shall do next. So if not append simply means if we are not appending. Okay, if we are not appending videos, we'll have to clear the container. So in order to clear the container, we have to say container.innerHTML empty string. So simply means the inner contents of, or the HTML content of the container will be empty. Basically, you are emptying out the whole container. The next thing now we have to do is these videos, to start displaying them as we saw in the intro. Okay, so to do that, we'll simply say if, then say data dot videos, as we saw in the, what's it called, in the, that's here. Okay, videos. Okay, we are now targeting this one. So dot videos. So what we are doing here now is to check if we actually have, for example, if we actually have videos in our data. For example, here videos, we have 6 because we are loading 6 per we are receiving 6 videos per load. Okay, so we'll first of all check if there is something. So basically, if data.videos, that is the videos, and remember this ampersand, double ampersand represent and. So and data.videos dot length is greater than 0. So if it is less than, or let's say if it's equal to 0, then it means it's an empty, it is empty. Okay, so once it checks out that there are videos, or there are videos, we then have to loop through each of those videos. So data dot videos dot for each. Okay, so for each video. So basically what is going on here is for each video inside videos that are inside data. Okay, so we now have to run this anonymous function. Which anonymous function, when we say function in programming, it is a doing word, so we have to do something. All right, so the very first thing we have to do now is to create a card. Okay, or yes, create a card for each of the videos. So we say const card document.create element div. So we are creating an element. Then the next thing we have to do is to talk about what will be inside those cards. So say card.inner HTML. Okay, so this is the sorry, what we are going to do. So we are simply going to, so the card.inner HTML, then all these codes here, these are HTML codes, but of course they are how do I put it, string literal. That is kind of, we are making HTML using JavaScript. So this is the the video, that is class the title, which is video.title. Then the video loading will be lazy. Remember, these are backticks. Without them, you cannot mix strings with variable names or names of variables. So then the source is video URL. Where are those? They are all coming from here. Got them here. File name, ID, title, URL. All right. So then how about type? What is type all about? Type is like when you say, here is the video, which is whatever dot mp4. Then we'll have the video type. It's an mp4 video or FLV video or WMV video, depends on the file type. So type simply means the file type. So what is all these things here? So what this can simply do is to take this, all you do is simply, please pay attention, okay? To take all of these things, then remove them and keep only mp4. All right. So we are using string operation. What is called? Is this string operation or something? So we are removing all of those things, then keeping only mp4. You can console log it if you wish. So we also type this, or your browser does not support the video tag, should in case. Then this is now for the button. Okay, so we'll say button class, then the class name is delete button, delete hyphen button, then on click. When you click the video, then this video ID. Okay, this is the video ID that will be sent to the API. Then delete button. So this one should not be too difficult for you. All right. So let's continue right away. Let me save it first of all. So once we are done with that, we now have to append it to the container. Okay, we now have to put it inside this container. Okay, and to do that, we simply say container.append child. What child are we appending? Card. So this one will then be put inside this. Okay, so now let me check out and see what we have. Let me go straight. So this is what we have in our browser. Okay, so it is very, very ugly because I think we have, okay, there's something we have not done. We have not added the, what is it called? We have not styled this particular one. Okay, we're going to add the class name. So what we'll do now is go up here where I say const card, and go up here. Then we say card.class name video card. So now I save, go straight to the, what's it called, the browser. Now I refresh. All right, you see, it's now working correctly. Okay, but we now have we only have 6 videos. So we will continue with the other functionality of this app. So let's continue immediately. What we have to do now, so here is the place. Let me go back. So here, immediately after the the closing brackets, okay, so simply, okay, so now what we have to do is to update because we cannot load more videos if we do not do some updating here. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So here is what I mean. So we're now going to update offset. Offset becomes plus equals, this is how we update things in JavaScript, plus equals data.videos.length, which means as we loaded 6 videos, okay, we loaded 6 videos. So we are now going to, in the next load, we are going to ignore these 6 videos that have already been loaded. So that is what it means. So update offset, then the total videos will then become data.total. So this one also we are updating it from the API. If what came back or the data that came back had no videos in them, so then this is where the else comes into play. So you go up here where you say if data.video, so you simply click that one. It will show you the closing what's it called, parenthesis, curly brackets, please. So we'll say else. So this should in case how do I put it, nothing came back. Please, sorry, it's not else, it is else if, because we are going to use another how do I put it, we are going to use catch to catch the main error. So we said if not append. So this append here, if not append, we display error, as in there were no videos. Show, we'll call the show message function, which will say no videos found. Then the other parameter will be error. All right, let me close this. Okay, once this happens, then we have to do another thing here. Its loading becomes false once again. So its loading becomes once again false. Now we have to deal with the catch. You see, should in case something went wrong with the request. So this is where the dot catch, the catch part of the fetch or the request comes into play. So say, sorry, made a mistake, please. Catch, we say error, then we run this function. This anonymous function, okay? So in the anonymous function, we have console.error, so fetch error, then error. Then we also call this show message function, error fetching videos, then error. Then its loading will also go back to false. Again, show message does not exist. This and it's how do I put it? It is a function that does not exist. So we have to, just as we define this one, we now have to define what show message does. But we are not going to do that right away. We'll first of all handle the video deletion part. Okay, the function that will delete the video. If you click on this delete button, what happens? Currently, nothing happens. All right. So the first thing we have to do is to create a function called delete video. So we go outside this load videos description, or where we define the load videos function, and create another function, videos, or delete video. Then it we will give it another a parameter ID. Remember, if how do I put it? If you here now on click, we'll call this function called once we click, we will call the function called delete video, and it has this ID. Okay, so this is basically what we are doing here. So delete video with the parameter ID. ID is simply the ID of the video that we are trying to delete. Okay, so in the intro, you saw that once I clicked delete button to delete a video, instead of deleting it directly, it first of all there was a dialog box that asks whether I am sure I want to delete the video. So that is what we are going to do immediately. So we say if, then for that to happen, we'll say confirm. So the confirm function. Okay. So let me test it. Confirm function. So this is the brackets. Now I save. I go straight to the browser. I refresh. Then let me click delete. You see, this dialog box drops down and says, it says localhost says okay, cancel. Let me try it again, please, and let me go to cancel. So this is just to confirm whether, to ask to double check if we really want to delete that video. So let's go back and ask the question. Are you sure you want to delete this video? Let me save. Let me try it again. I refresh. Delete. Says localhost says, are you sure you want to? So the last time we didn't see this. So I just wanted to display it so that you understand what is going on properly. If you click cancel, then that's it. It means false. But when you click OK, then it is true. So it means it's going to proceed with the next line of code. And that line of code will be to delete the video. So to delete the video, we have to make a request. Okay, let me just get it. Let me paste it because it's kind of long and I don't want to make any mistake. So here it is, fetch. So fetch, of course, is how we make, as I said earlier, how we make a request and using an API in JavaScript. So API, this is connection to the API, then videos ID. All right, this is the ID. Then the method we are supplying is delete. So this is a delete request. Okay, it will ask our API to go to the server and what is it called? Is to go to the database and delete a video with a particular ID. Okay, let me say it again. This request goes to the API and we delete the video with this a particular ID. So our API will then send us a message or a response which contains the message of success or error. If it succeeds in deleting the video, to send us to give us a message of a success. If not, which means it did not succeed. Okay, so that is error. Now to do that, that message is a response, as I said earlier. So we still use the then, so response, then we run the function response dot JSON. Okay, so I just wanted to check to make sure I didn't make any typographical error. So this line converts the raw response from the server into a JavaScript object. I have said that earlier in the other function. So this returns another promise that resolves to a JavaScript object. And when we talk like that, we mean data. So after this conversation, we'll have the data. Sorry, this conversion, not conversation, please. We have the data. But then, what is inside the data? We always want to know. For that, we need another then function on the data. Okay, so let's proceed right away. Okay, so let us see what is inside the data. So we'll say console.log console.log data. So let me save it immediately. Then I go over here, refresh, then I delete. Let me click delete. Okay, then let me go straight to inspect and see what it will say. So we have an object. Then inside this object, what do we have? We have message. Okay, message deleted successfully. So if we put dot message here, then let me refresh. Sorry, I haven't clicked this button. So it says video deleted successfully. So where is this message coming from? It is coming from here, the dash API. So let me check. Control F, then I type message here. See, you see message here. Where again? So message, video deleted successfully. If it were okay, yeah, message deleted successfully. All right. So now we know where message is coming from. So let it not be kind of a magic to you. Okay. So let me remove this. Okay. So now we have the the data. Okay. Remove this one immediately. We'll then work. We will then work with the message inside it. Okay. So we'll say if data dot message. Okay. Because what we are doing, why am I using if is because the message can come in any form, in two forms. So that is success or error. So our function will act depending on what type of message we got from our API. So first of all, let's start with the success message. Okay. So if data.message, we then say, excuse me, please, I made a mistake. So it's outside, not inside. All right. So we'll go straight to show message. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? Control C, then paste it here. Show message, then data dot message. Okay. Then we also give it another parameter, which is success, because we are dealing with that of success first. All right. So mind you, this show message does not exist yet. This show message function, it doesn't exist yet. So we'll define it later. Okay. Now we have done this. We'll go straight to offsets. Offsets should be set back to 0. Then call the load videos. Then, as I said earlier in the video, I said where is it again, please? The load videos, the app. Sorry, not that one, please. This append stuff. Okay, so I will simply type false here. So what this means that it's going to reload from the start. So simply we are going to refresh the whole thing. We are not we're going to refresh the whole how do I put it, because we deleted the video. We didn't ask it to load new videos. We instead deleted a video, so we have to refresh, reload the videos that we are already there, like from the start. Then else, in case something went wrong, so we'll simply what else. Okay, so else we say show message. This time around it will be data dot error, then error. All right. So the next thing we have to do now is to do the catch part. Of course, if we are not yet done if we don't do the catch part. All right. So let's do that immediately. So say if there is any error, we say catch, then error, show message, error deleting video, error. All right. So the next thing we are now going to do is define the show message function. Okay. And we will also explain this error and success. Why are they important in this app? So show message function takes two inputs, as we have already seen here. This is input 1, this is the second input. So it takes two inputs, which are the text from the API, then type, whether it's a success or error. Then the text is the message we want to show, like video deleted, we got it from the API, while the type is a success or error. This we will use for styling something. Okay, remember, let's go up there. You see, I said this earlier, you should bear this in mind. Message, success, and error. So it depends on what came back, then the style will be it will be styled accordingly. Okay, so let's do the definition right away. So come over here. Now say function show message text and type. All right. So we'll first of all find the div on our page with the ID message. So we'll do that by saying const message div. We'll create a const called message div. Then to it we assign this document.getElement by ID message. As I say, okay, I've already shown you before, so I don't need to go to do it again. Then we will set the actual message inside the div by saying message div, and the message div dot text, the text content will be text. Next, we add the CSS or the CSS class to the div for styling. So that is the type we talked about earlier, error or success. So if type is success, class becomes message success. If type is error, then class becomes message error. So to do that, we'll simply say message div dot class name. Then to it we say message, backticks to mix strings with variable names. So type. All right. So let me see what we have. I refresh. Oh, sorry. Okay, it says video deleted successfully. Okay, let me try it again. Delete. Okay, video deleted successfully. Okay, let's continue. So again, this thing will stay here forever, but we do not want that. We want it to disappear after 3 seconds. So in order to do that, we'll simply go under here and say set timeout, which is a function in JavaScript. Then we'll run this anonymous function which says message div dot text content will be empty string, and the set timeout will requires another parameter. So here we're giving it 3000. 3000 is simply how long it's going to stay before it disappears. So let me try it again. So I go delete. Okay, it says video deleted successfully, then it disappears. So if we are not able to delete the video, this one will be this background will have another color. So we gave the error this background color of this particular pinkish color. Okay, next we do lazy loading, because we always like the effect. Okay, but what exactly is lazy loading? I should have explained it earlier. Lazy loading is simply a technique used in web development to delay loading certain content or more content in our case until it is actually needed. For example, when we scroll to a certain level. So this is basically what we've been doing all this while. So in our app, we'll be watching when the user scrolls to a certain level, which in our case will be the bottom of our page, which is a div, okay, with an ID of Sentinel. So once we get to that level, we'll have to then call the load videos function to load more videos. So the Sentinel, in case you've forgotten, is here. All right. So once you scroll to this level, okay, then we are going to load more videos and display more content in our page. So let's do that immediately. Now, the very first thing we have to do is to first of all grab the div with the ID of Sentinel. So in order to do that, we'll simply type const Sentinel. It is a constant. So to this content, we are giving this line, this code. So we are assigning this code to this variable here, or this constant here. So it says document.getElement by ID, then Sentinel. I don't need to talk about it again. You already know what we are talking about here. Then let's move to the next line. The next line involves creating a new observer to watch if, some kind of observer that will watch if any element, in this case, Sentinel, enters the viewport. Okay, so to do that, we have to first of all create a const called, and we'll call that const. Sorry, we'll call that const observer. To it, we'll now, assign this intersection observer. So it's kind of an API that is built into our browser. Or you can invoke it or use it using new intersection observer. Okay, so intersection observer, it takes another, what's it called, another variable or parameters called entries. So what are entries, or what is, in our case, entry is just one, but anyway, the reason why it is so is that usually it watches several things. Okay, but in our case, we just want to watch only one thing, but we still go with the convention, which is entries. Now, once we get this, we move straight to running this function. Before then, more on entries. So what exactly are entries? I want to I want to talk about it more. So entries is an array of intersection observer entry objects that tell you which elements are being observed and how visible they are, at a given time or right now. Even though we are usually observing only one element, even though we are currently in our app, we'll be observing only one element. Okay, the API still gives us an array. Okay, just in case you are watching multiple elements. Now, what happens when the Sentinel is on the viewport? So we'll handle that immediately. So to check that, we'll of course use the if statement. Okay, so if what are we checking? So if entries, okay, remember it's an array. So we start from the very first item in the array. In our own case, it's only one item. So which means this 0 here. So if entries is intersecting, okay, so if the item or this element here is intersecting and is loading, okay, that is to say, sorry, and not is loading, please. Don't, oh God, don't ignore this exclamation mark here. So is loading, which means not is loading, kind of, there is no loading going on currently, and these two ampersands here, double ampersands here, signify and offset is less than total videos, which means we have not loaded all the videos we have in our database. Okay, so if that is true, so basically what is happening is, because the Sentinel is somewhere here, okay, but we give it a background of transparent, so you're not going to see it. So it's somewhere here. So have we scrolled down to this area? Okay, so if we have scrolled down to this area, that is one condition. Then the other condition is that there is no loading currently going on. Then the other third condition is we haven't loaded all the videos in our database. So that is when this, or if all of these things return true, then we can run the following code. And what will be the following code is simply to load video. Okay, the load videos function. So let me just copy it, then come over here and paste it. Okay, but why is it showing an error? Wait, I think I made a mistake somewhere, please. Okay, I've seen where the error is coming from. It's a typographical error. If so, it's initially I did capital letter, or capital letter, but it's supposed to be a small letter. All right, so if entries, or anyway, I've already explained this. So we're going to load videos now. once all these conditions return true. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is to tell the intersection observer what to do after calling load videos function. Okay, after calling the load videos function, there are options that that how do I put it? There are options. There are certain options we must take into cognizance. So the options are, first of all, we have the root, then the root margin, then the threshold. Of course, I will explain what it means, what all of these mean. So first of all, you come over here to give you to type in the options, or to give the options. So here you give a comma. Okay, so this comma now, we will now give the options. So go down, then root will be null. So sorry, there is an error here. First of all, this load videos function should be down here. Okay. Okay, the next error we are going to fix is, let me take this one off. So to fix that, we'll simply go, you see this, okay, see this entries here, come over here, then give a comma, then open and close parenthesis, curly braces, please. All right, so this is where we are going to give the, what's it called, the options. So let me just get them and paste them here. Okay, I will explain. So basically, what do we have here? Simply roots will be null. So simply we are going to use the viewport. Then the root margin is 100 pixels. So this one trigger 100 pixels before Sentinel is visible, or kind of before Sentinel even creeps, or we don't have to allow, I mean, we're not supposed to allow it to come up entirely before we load video, before we call the load videos function. Instead, just even as soon as it approaches like 100 pixels to the viewport, then this load videos will trigger. Then threshold is 0. So it also means to trigger when any part of Sentinel is visible. This is just to make sure that everything works correctly. Okay. Then the next thing we have to do now is to call the observer function. So yeah, the observer function. So or method observer. We say observer dot observe. Okay, sorry, observer dot observe. So what are we observing? We are going to observe the sentinel. So let me check, make sure that the spellings are correct. All right, observer dot observe, and what are we observing? We're going to observe the sentinel. So this is this particular one now. Load videos is the initial load. Okay, so let me specify it down here immediately. Now let me save. So let's go straight to the browser and see what we have. So here we are. Fingers crossed. I refresh. Fingers crossed once more. So let me scroll. All right, you see, we have loaded more videos. Let me try it again. See, let me try it once more. You see here, these sections are empty, or there are no cards here. But if I scroll, the cards appear. Okay, so don't mind what you're seeing here. Like you're seeing two of these thumbnails. This just I uploaded the videos twice. So in order to, I mean I uploaded the same video twice, but to see the difference, you look at the title. Their titles. So this one says test video. This one says nice family. All right. So let's see if it is actually deleting. Okay, that is very, very, very important. So now let me delete this one. It says error deleting video. So let me check what is going on, and I'll come back to you as soon as I am done. All right, guys, I have seen where the error is coming from. It's here. okay, because I knew it's going to be in, because how it was behaving, the deletion wasn't working properly. So I found out where the problem was. It's offset, but here is what I put earlier: offset. Okay, it's offset, please. Oh, please, offset. All right. So let me test it once more. I have saved it. Then I go to the browser. I refresh. So let me delete. All right, it's gone. Okay. So you know what? I'll pause the video. Then I will load. I will. How do I put it? I will load more videos into our database and start deleting them. All right. So let's start immediately. I mean, let me do it immediately. Okay. All right. So I have uploaded a few videos to our database. So let me just go to the dashboard. Okay. All right. So you see, one, two, third, fourth, fifth. All right. So let me delete one. Delete. It is gone. Delete. It's gone. Let me delete this one. It's gone. So now let me test if let me just kind of test when something goes wrong. And one way I can do that is by, let me say, okay, let me add I to this place, so it becomes double I. Now I save, go over here, I refresh. It says error fetching videos. Okay, they are back once more. So thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you also to for following the series. So whenever I have any updates, I will bring it up. Then if you also have questions, please feel free to ask. Comments, like the video, share the video to your friends, your friends and loved ones. Thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.